This is Sky Fire News, the best UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Skyfire News. Skyfire News. Fire News. Yes, sir. Skyfire News, the best UFO show on the internet. Skyfire News is on the internet. Come look for no TV, mom. Fire News.
Man, I love that song. Welcome to the show. This is Skyfire News, where we give you your weekly and daily UFO news updates. We got a great show for you tonight. There's a show premiered last night. All right, it's a Discovery show, and it's on Max. Alien Encounters, Fact or Fiction. Now, I've been looking forward to this for a hot minute, as I'm sure we all have. We love mainstream shows that pop into mainstream networks and whatnot, and actually get the word out there. I got a chance to catch the show. And I loved it. I thought it was very interesting, kind of new. There was a newer take, and it's a little spicy too. Like, it's a little spicy. So we're going to show you a trailer for the show. Then we got David Altman. He is the casting producer for the show. He's here to talk to us about it, about how it all went down, and we'll just kind of go through the first episode. If you guys haven't heard about it, definitely check it out. We'll get you all the links you need. As you know, we got Red Panda in the mix. We are grinding this out. This is going to be fun. For now, here's a trailer for the show so we can all be on the same page. Check this out.
I was abducted by aliens 7 times since 1984.
Everyone has a story, and this is the town that UFOs built. I'm here to listen to first-hand accounts, consider the evidence.
Oh my God. I see it.
At that point, I'll render a verdict.
I'm a journalist. I'm an investigator. The most important thing to me is facts.
We have a piece of material evidence.
Our whole house lit up. I just unfortunately can't say this is a UFO.
I feel like it's some bull. I believe the data is wrong.
I wish I could just know what it was.
There's no question to me that you experienced a UFO. You never know who's going to walk through the front door in Roswell, New Mexico.
Damn, they are filming this bad boy in Roswell, New Mexico. They got these guys coming in, right? It's Mitch and Chrissy, and they're chilling in a bar in Roswell, and they have these guys come in, and they go through their data. And, like, these guys do background research into it, so they're able to say, hey, we did the studies on this. Here's what was flying by at the time you had your sighting. Here's what we concluded. And then the guys on the show, the guests that are coming there to, like, not plead their case, but to make their case, they don't always react great to the news. It's very, very good. So without further ado, let's get Red Panda in the mix. Red, how you doing, man? I'm sure there he is.
Still don't know what's up with our cameras. Sorry, David, our guest.
I know, yeah. David. We'll see David's face, but we're still out of commission on this. But we'll get back. We'll get our faces back here for you guys. But Red, what do you think? What do you think about these new UFO shows coming out? It's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. But based on what you're saying, that's cool. I know Chrissy Newton's in it. She's cool. She does good stuff, right? She's part of like the debrief and whatnot, I think.
Mm-hmm. And they broke the Grush story with Leslie Kean. Am I tripping? Is that right?
Yes. So, I mean, that's cool that she's getting her own show. That's cool that it's on, HBO Max, right?
Yeah, Max and Discovery Channel, dude.
Just having options out there on all this stuff, right?
Yep. Yeah. More content, dude. We need it. And this one is interesting because they have it's a fresher take. It's not all believer. It's like, hey, let's look at the data, which is flipping awesome. They mentioned ATIP in it. Some of the samples got sent off to ATIP, or not samples, maybe the story or whatever. And we'll go into that with David. But hey, let's get David up here, and he can fill us in on the facts. David Altman, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Cool.
Over there on the East Coast, living
Yeah,
it up.
I'm on the East Coast at Mom's right now, still hanging out, sweating my ass off.
Dude, you're always grinding on UFO content. Like, what made you? What was the inception point behind this show here?
So I didn't develop the show. I got brought on after it was already developed. At the beginning, it was just going to be about people coming into a bar and telling stories of their encounters. And then kind of at the last minute, I think it was the network that kind of wanted to change it up. And then we did the evidence part afterwards. So,
dude, so are you saying that the pitch was like, hey, we're going to be in a bar in Roswell and people are going to come in and just tell their story?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah. Yeah. At the beginning, there was not going to be any testing of evidence or anything. That came later on.
Oh, it like evolved that way. Well, I think the pitch is amazing. I'm in, right? Just, hey, we're going to get in a bar and just kind of shoot the shit, because that's where some of these conversations happen for real.
Well, especially, you know, when you watch this show, they kind of explain that bar in particular, a lot of people would meet up and tell stories, you know? So
really?
Yeah.
Dude. And how did, when you got involved, Mitch and Chrissy were already involved in the project?
No, I cast Chrissy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've known,
awesome. I met her when she was in A Tear in the Sky with me.
Yep.
And you know, I knew that she would be perfect for this. You know,
dude, was Tear in the Sky by that 1091 film?
1091 distributed it, but they didn't make it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you guys get hosed on those guys? Not that you can talk business here, but I remember there was a big issue with that studio.
Not with us. Not with us. I don't know anything about it. Yeah.
You guys made it out good. So you cast Chrissy in it. Now Mitch is like he's not only into UFOs, he's into like occult stuff too.
Yeah.
Really esoteric stuff.
Into everything, yeah.
Now, without spoilers, does that have a chance to find its footing in the show? His like
I don't know, man. I've seen as much as you've seen. So you know, it's a mystery to me. You know, I just kept talking to producers and like, yeah, everything's going great. Christy looks great. Everything's great, you know. And I took their word for it, and it looks great.
It does. I was taken aback by the concept, right? Because these guys are coming into the bar, and like, for a show, you're bringing on people who aren't really camera ready necessarily, but they don't want to be on a show. Well, that hasn't been their goal for the past couple of years, right? They're
right. Yeah.
real
Yeah.
people.
So I cast probably 85-90% of those people. Like, and you know, my goal was not to have the same people that everybody's seen on every UFO show. I wanted all new people if I could, you know? So at the beginning, you know, I had to look just for the greatest stories, you know, and I didn't just want a story. I wanted some kind of, I wouldn't say evidence, but, you know, maybe collaboration, some type of proof that stuff happened. And then once we switched over to evidence, I mean, I got lucky, man. Like I had help from like Philip Mantle helped me.
Nice.
Tom Reed helped me, and you know, I had tried to cast Jim Semivan to talk on the show.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I hit up Jim, and I'm like, "Hey, will you talk to producers?" And he spoke to them, but he didn't really want to go on and talk about his experiences, which I understand. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. But that's the kind of power that I wanted. I wanted some really big players to do it. But even though we didn't really have that, it still worked out great. You know, I probably had a couple of weeks to find the evidence part, like the metals and stuff like that. And there's some stuff obviously I can't talk about until it's aired.
Right.
You know, but I found some cool shit, man. I found some cool stuff that hasn't been seen before.
Really?
I didn't realize.
And not just UFO stuff. There's some other stuff too.
I didn't realize you were the casting director, because for like a show like this, I feel like that's kind of everything, right? You're the one deciding.
Yeah, man.
What did that look like? Because did you just do like an open thing online, like, hey, if you're in the region?
I did do that. I posted some stuff on social media, and then I just called people. I mean, I know a lot of people in the community, you know, so I just call people. Hey, do you know this? Do you know anybody that has this or that? And people came through. I definitely couldn't do it alone, not without the community. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, dude. This is like, I feel like I said, I didn't realize you were the casting director on this.
Casting producer.
Or casting producer. Was there some people who I'd imagine, right, that their stuff didn't really check out, and you kind of had to be
So I'll say this. The biggest disappointment that I had, and I'm not going to name names, but there were some people that I talked to, and they're telling me about their experience, and they had evidence, and I'd asked for like medical records, and then they'd never answer the phone ever again. Like they couldn't produce what I was asking them. They couldn't produce anything to verify.
Really?
Yeah, and that kind of bummed me out. You know, people that I knew that I thought were, you know, yeah, that was a bummer.
Let's see if I can find.
It's asking a lot of the.
Yeah, I'm not
guests,
saying
right?
I'm not okay. I can't say that they didn't produce it because they didn't have it. Maybe they got scared. Maybe someone told them and their family wasn't comfortable with it. But there were some people that had some evidence that I wanted to see personally. I'm like, yeah, let's get that. Let's show that. And they didn't come through.
Dang, did you get any hunches that maybe some people were like warned not to be on the show? Okay, cool.
And like I said, it could have been their family.
Yeah.
I've only had one show that I worked on where the government kind of allegedly stepped in and shut it down, but it had nothing to do with this.
Dude, this show it has elements of like almost like a Shark Tank. You know what I mean? Where they're coming into a space where there's cameras and people and it's a set, and then they're presenting their case. And I love that, right? But like, yeah, as far as casting, you're making and breaking the show. And I love that, like Mitch and Chrissy, they're great presenters and they're personable. Like when there was a guy who came on, I think it might have been the first guy, where he came on with his wife, and he said that Indy, yes, and he said that
I didn't cast Indy. I didn't meet him.
How did Indy get cast? Because he was basically what happened. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but like the news that he got was different than what he expected, and his reaction to that was
and it's
real.
It's you know, it's like, of course, people that didn't get the answers that they wanted were a little upset and got upset, but the people that got good answers were like, you know, hallelujah, you know. So we're not trying to debunk anything. You know what I mean? We're not trying to you know, make UFOs look bad. I mean, obviously, you know, we found some possible metal, you know, or, you know, we didn't find it. Frank found it, but, you know.
That was a really great part. And did you cast Frank?
Yeah.
Okay, because he
I also casted, or, you know, I was the one that got the labs and stuff to do the testing and found people.
Oh wow, all of you, huh? That's crazy. Dude, good working. It looks like you were doing a bunch of stuff for this. Maybe
I did a lot
working on the show.
Dude, I mean, hell yes. I mean, when Chrissy mentioned A-tip, like about this pure aluminum sample, right? That was just so, like, such a cool little twist, right?
That's the same thing. That's the same thing that the results that Art Bell got on his art parts. The same results, 99999 point whatever aluminum.
Really?
So when I heard that, I was like, it's very common, man. A lot of this metal, it's either got bismuth magnesium, you know, and it's layered certain ways, or it's pure aluminum. And
which I don't know if you guys know, aluminum's like an alloy, like, you know what I mean, and it's such a
aluminum, it can turn into alloys.
Right. To find it pure, you know, that's not natural. The bismuth and magnesium layers are interesting too, that you find in these metamaterials, because it's like dielectric and then electric. You know what I mean? It like seems to have some kind of electrical component to it. Which
I was going to do something. I just had some ideas, and I reached out to some people that were involved with the press conference that they did at the 50th anniversary of Roswell, where they were going to announce that they had this metamaterial, this material. They had an astrophysicist or somebody, whatever he was, from some scientist from San Diego, and they were going to announce, like, here's what we found at this big press conference in Roswell, and it got shut down at the last minute. I was able to get my hands on the report that was done on the metal, which I still have, which is pretty cool that I have that.
Oh,
and it's
hell yeah.
It's pretty much the same. It's the same stuff that they found in all the TTSA materials. It's the same thing.
What's your take on it all then? These metals that we're seeing and Tom DeLonge even recently said too that like people want to clown him, but the CRADA is still in an active thing with the Army about these materials because
there's something, you know, and you know it's something I've been kind of interested in for a while. I've talked to a lot of people. Some people are like, "Yeah, I've got it. You know, I'll send you some," and they never do. But I have found some people that are willing to take me out to go look for this stuff. I want to go. I'm going to go, you know, myself.
So where is this one of the like gifting fields that Pasolka talks about, you think? Or
Correct. Yeah.
And is that what, in New Mexico, I believe?
Yes. Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the gifting fields?
That's where Frank got this stuff, in the same area.
Now, this is an area in New Mexico and I think there are other so-called hotspots.
I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. I mean, he's from Roswell. They call it, the debris field. It's got to be. I mean, it just makes sense.
Yeah, debris field, gifting field.
Yeah. I think it's the same place.
Such an esoteric name, the gifting field. And this is the place supposedly where Tim Taylor blindfolded Dana Pasulka and brought her to an area like this to find material.
Yeah, I think
like
it was
this.
her. It was her, and was it? I forget. Wasn't Sarfati? It was. I think it was
Gary Nolan.
No, I think it was Kreipel.
Jeffrey Kreipel. Okay,
somebody like that. I forget. I don't remember.
Dude, okay, so in this, Chrissy Newton mentions that a source from ATIP, she asked Frank, have you heard of ATIP? Are you familiar? Frank's like, yeah, I am. So he's in his research. He's been keeping up on things. And without asking your source, would we know the person? Would we know of the name of whoever connected the dots between ATIP and the samples that are known from there? Because someone from that, weighed in.
They said, oh, you mean who did they talk to at ATIP? I don't know. I don't know who that is. That's a good question. But I mean, you don't have many people. It has to be somebody, in that camp, either Hal Puthoff or. I tried to get Hal to do the show. I asked him. He said no.
Really? Honestly, getting Hal and Semivan involved in these shows is a really good idea. Yeah, right? These are technical. But
Semivan did the original interview, but then it just he didn't end up doing it.
Are there some big names coming down for some of the later episodes that people would recognize?
There's some people that I got to act as experts per se, not experts, but people that are good at electronics and different things, different fields that I brought on that people will recognize. I'm sure. Ben Hansen's on the show. Ben Hansen's a big part of the show.
Nice. Yeah, that's a huge name, big name for sure.
Hi, Alien Girl.
Hell yeah, we got the chat living it up right now. Glad you guys are all here. This is a great interview. When I see metamaterials, I'm always curious about the story from the Bledsoes, right? Where that some of this metamaterial.
Another person, I tried to get him on the show, man, and he was just so busy. Trust me, all the people that you could think of that you're like, man, they should have been on the show. I tried them, man. That's where I started. I started in the Gary Nolan, Jack. Yeah. That's where I started. Jacques Vallée. I emailed Jacques.
Hell yeah.
All these people, dude. And everybody was just, when it's a new show like that, I get it. They don't know what they're getting into.
Absolutely. Well, I think from the first episode, the proof of concept is there. I'm locked in. I cannot wait to see the rest of them. And I think maybe by season 2 or by the end of season 1, you might be getting some calls.
Let's go, man. I hope we get season 2,
Dude.
I wanted them to put on at the end of the show, like, hey, if you found any evidence and you want to get it tested, contact us, type of thing. I was like, give them my phone number. I don't care, man. But they couldn't do it.
And you can't blame them. And I'm sure you're familiar with this David Altman, right? Especially in this kind of thing where it's like network television UFO stuff. I'm sure everyone in this community who's done that has been part of something, and then the network kind of changes what the vision was. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And that's why. A lot of people, unfortunately, some of them, they get disappointed, but they still take the deal, I don't know.
Well, there's on this one, you have a lot of control, would you say, or there's not as much risk of that happening?
Only control that I had was, giving my best references for the people, the company, Betz Productions, they hadn't done a UFO show before ever,
That can be good sometimes.
Yeah, it can be, so they had to really, trust me, because when I got brought on, it had already been, I guess COVID had slowed the process down, and I cast 50 people in 4 weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was 24/7, man. That's all I did.
Well, when they get someone from the community who knows the ins and outs, knows the people, right. That's what that's the value of it.
Yeah,
dude.
And then the one of the producers is Mark Marciano, and he produced season 3. He was a showrunner for Skinwalker Ranch for season 3.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's a producer on the show too.
Nice.
So they had Mark. Yeah.
Nice, dude. You ever thought about getting Andrew Bustamante on, the CIA guy? He's the guy who like was really convinced by Bledsoe at Skinwalker Ranch when they looked at his brain scans.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I
guy.
mean,
you might be down, yeah.
Yeah, I'm open to whoever. It's
got this clip ready to go. Sicktanick was on the show. He clipped this out on Twitter. I figure we could watch this maybe in a
Oh, cool.
Yes.
And also too, but
Sicktanick.
look at what he talks about here. We've talked about it before
There's
too.
a feeling you get, the hairs on your arms, your neck kind of stand up.
I
it's a
shot
really
that.
cool clip.
I shot that.
We've been
That's
talking
mine.
about these things.
Wait,
What
wait
do
a second. Wait a second. You shot this blue.
Yes. Yeah.
You
yeah,
shot this?
Yeah. Yeah. So
We've shown this on the show before. We investigated this. It goes
What do
into
you
the
mean?
water.
No, it doesn't. This is in the desert. This is out by Skinwalker
Okay.
This
Ranch.
shape has been seen a lot recently, and I don't know what
So,
it is.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you the story. So me, Tim Senior, Tom King, and a couple other people and a camera crew, we were going out to film out by Bradshaw Ranch originally. This was last summer, and it was too hot. We went up to this. They had a conference in Utah called the Moon Lake Conference, which my friend Terry Carter he puts together, and it's a treasure hunter / UFO / Bigfoot conference. And we went there, and we went for the day, and we were staying out in Moon Lake, and we're like, you know what? Let's go out by Skinwalker. I'll call Brandon on the way out there just to say hi. We're out here. I called Eric and whoever. Blah blah blah. They weren't around, so we camped out. We just camped out at a spot that Tim knew out by Mount Wilson, and at like 3 a.m, this friggin' thing appears, and you can't see it with the naked eye. It was we all had psionics, and we were looking at it.
The night vision cameras.
Yeah, and you'll hear me when you watch
right
the
here,
show.
you can't see with the naked eye.
No.
Oh, very
And
interesting.
so what I originally thought it was reflections off the ground because it was a huge full moon. So I thought it was reflections off the ground that were putting this thing up. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the outcome's going to be. I have no idea what they're going to say. But I mean, the only way that I'm going to be convinced that this is something is if it can be repeated. If I can go back out there again and catch this again, I'll know that it's something.
Now, David, this is a recording off a screen. Now,
Yeah.
it's hard to see the detail. Is this kind of like a small chain of blue lights?
It's like I actually have stills of it, but it's like it's one long blue light, like a big crystal hanging down.
So, David, have you
Right.
seen?
Oh.
There's been a bunch of these around. Let me show you. We've even been.
I didn't even know that, man. I didn't know that.
Look at how many we found.
So if you're in Scottsdale right now, near McDowell, and
So that's not it.
Okay.
There's this one too.
That's not it. Yeah.
And these are different dates and different locations.
And obviously, I think it's going to be like episode 5. I think is when that part airs,
Nice.
and you'll be able to see more video of it. And then after the show airs, we can release the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this is very cool. It was interesting to see Sicktanick right on the first episode too. Like these little montages are great, man. But yeah, this is what we were seeing. We kept seeing these.
This is the one that goes down into the water and then comes back up.
Yeah.
out of
See
it.
that you can see with the naked eye. Ours you could not.
Huh.
Interesting.
And then some thoughts were it could have been a satellite shooting a laser down, but I don't think we would have seen the laser. Like there wasn't a laser.
Yeah, you would have seen the laser with the naked eye or the psionics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing goes in the water and then goes back up. We're still
Yeah.
at a
It
loss for
wasn't.
this.
It wasn't moving. It was just there.
Really?
Yeah. It didn't move for like 35, 40 minutes.
What was the temperature like out there?
Friggin' hot, man. It was like 90.
Okay, then it.
See, I thought. See, and the only lights around were like 20 miles away. You could see the lights of a city. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to walk underneath it and look up. But they were like, "Nah, man, we're not doing that." 'Cause it was.
I like your style.
It was at nighttime, and we were in the middle of the desert, man. Like, they definitely would have got eaten by something, if not abducted by something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, let's go look under it and look up. And if we see it and we know that there's nothing casting light up, you know.
Yeah, that's that
David,
Travis
have
Walton
you-
energy.
Have you seen a UFO or had an experience? I'd imagine with that energy you just had right there.
So
Yeah.
I saw something during A Terror in the Sky, which is in the movie. And then so I'm at my mom's house, and when her dogs unfortunately passed away not too long ago, but I used to come and visit, and then I would take the dogs out in the backyard. So I know what my backyard sky looks like. I know that there's not supposed to be anything there. And right now I'm like 15 miles from Cape Canaveral. So I'm used to rockets and things like that all the time. Like I know what those are, obviously. So I went out one day to take the dog out, and I saw a glowing orb in the sky, and I'm like, that's not supposed to be there. It's not. It was too low. It was like over a house. So I run in, and I'm like, Mom, you got to come outside. She's like, if it's aliens, I'm not coming out. And I'm like, no, you got to come out. So we go out, and I filmed it. I have it on film. It's on my YouTube channel. And I'm filming it, and it's a glowing orb that just disappears, right? Just blinked out, gone. So I was like, where'd it go? And then I brought my camera back up because I stopped filming when it disappeared. I brought my phone back up, and I'm like, where'd it go? I don't see it. My mom's like, it's right there. It's right there. She could see it, and I couldn't. And that's very common thing to happen. Where there'll be a group of people, and like 3 people will see something, and the rest don't.
Help me. Which video is it? We could.
It's on my YouTube channel. It is.
I think.
Yeah. No. Go down. Yeah. Go down. It's part 1 of the lights. Right. Part 1. It says lights above my house.
Lights above. Oh, okay. Part 2. What I
do part 1 first.
I'm trying to see. Dude, but help me. Is this part? Artemis launched from no UFO film above my house in Florida.
Yeah.
I filmed this light right by my house.
Hang on.
Nice.
Let me look.
I mean, I'm sorry, I can't.
No, I know.
Let me see. Let's type in part 1.
Yeah, it says light in the sky over the house, part 1. 482 views.
Okay, here we go.
That's it, man. Watch. And you'll hear me freak out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that ain't no star. That looks really close.
Watch. This is funny. I freak out, dude. Watch. Holy shit! Holy shit! I filmed it! I was filming! So, part 2... Put on part 2, and that's when it disappeared, and I couldn't see it. And then when it did reappear, I filmed it. So I think I don't remember, but I forget. Play it. Watch. It comes back.
Oh, yeah.
Now, up in the corner, that's ISS.
That's good reference.
That's not ISS right there, what I'm looking at, dude.
No, it's weirdly like it's a little more opaque. You know what I mean? It has like a. Oh, this is very cool.
Watch.
How close do you think it was?
I called my buddy, and he is the head of security for the launch pad at NASA. And I was like, hey, I sent him the video. He's like, Dave, I don't know what that was. We didn't pick it up.
Wow.
Eerie. Dude, this is great.
And then, boom, it's gone again.
Your reaction in part 1 was so real.
Yeah, I was freaking out because I go out there and I see lights all the time, and I always want to stay there and watch them leave. But I'll go in the house and I'll come out and they'll just be gone. I finally caught one leaving, and that's why I was so excited.
I feel that.
No, that's dope. We'll probably play that again too on a clip show. That's awesome. I didn't expect to see a new UFO video filmed by David. I didn't expect that to happen. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And it might be cool to watch this too, because we've talked about it a few times. We'll just watch the Tear in the Sky trailer, because this is some of your work too, and maybe we could talk about it. You know, send people that way too.
What has made mankind is an insatiable curiosity. Insatiable. What is that? Nobody knows. A phenomenon.
Nobody's ever done this as far as I know.
It's a huge amount of work, a huge amount of data and equipment that has never been done.
Whatever this is more complex than we could ever imagine.
This is a first in the field of ufology.
The variety of devices we're bringing as a team to study the phenomenon covered an entire spectrum of different technologies in real time.
that moment shook me to the core because I knew my life was about to change again.
I think we're going to have like a couple of really, really good spots.
When I hear that you've assembled a team of top scientists using state-of-the-art equipment, I say to myself, it's about time.
This is an unidentified, unclassified new phenomenon.
Wow. Tic Tacs. Maybe Tic Tacs.
Maybe.
Caught on our cameras.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Crazy. It isn't crazy. Crazy.
We can go from body heat to very cold, like about minus 62 Celsius or minus 80 Fahrenheit. Wow. We will be transmitting data up to 800 terahertz in frequency. Our highest technology is up around 500 gigahertz.
I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to seeing what you've uncovered.
We're triangulating and converging at 2 points, the same object.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's friggin' gone.
We could be heading towards the biggest "see I told you so" in history.
That's what we need, the smoking gun that'll clinch it. That once and for all will settle the debate. No ifs, ands, or buts. And in the process, rewrite all of human history.
Oh my God, you guys. Is this the wormhole? It's insane.
Insane.
Shout out to Shatner.
I forgot how stacked that was. You guys had Travis Taylor in there and all the UPS
Michio
guys.
Kaku.
Wow.
Was that Kevin
we
Gay?
had Ryan Wiggett. He was on the Nimitz or the Princeton.
Dang. Yeah, this is a great production, man. Shout out to Gary Voorhees.
So did you see the night vision with the regular really green night vision with the orb in it? That was me. I filmed that.
You're out here doing the most.
And is that what
your footage is on YouTube?
Yeah. So
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Go. No, good.
I was gonna say, so what's up with this Catalina area? Why did you guys decide to go there? You hear a lot about people saying there's a base there. What's up with that?
The reason that we went there was because that's where the Nimitz encounter happened, and that was like the whole story was these guys are going back out to where that happened. And of course we were aware, or I was aware of all the weird stuff that happens out there. I did a lot of research on the island before filming the movie, and I talked to a lot of fishermen and like the whale watch captains. I talked to the editor of the Catalina Island newspaper, where the editor of the Catalina Island newspaper had so many crazy reports that he wrote a book on it, and he's getting ready to publish part 2.
Oh, wow.
That's how many reports that he had. And he's got them going back to the 40s. What a lot of people don't know is that's where the original training ground was for the OSS, which became the CIA. That was the spot. That's where they trained the very first OSS guys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Dude.
I'm convinced there's something under the water there. I'm convinced that no matter what this thing is, I don't think it's from space. I think it's something that is either lived here and been here all the time, or it lives here now, or it's from like another dimension or something like that. But whatever it is, I definitely think that they're underwater.
Crypto-terrestrial.
Yeah.
USO. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think there's been sightings in this area, like even before the Tic Tac, right? Like this has been a known.
Yeah,
hotspot.
I have a clipping from the 1947 paper, 48 maybe. I forget what year it is, but it's a clipping, and it's 3. It had to be after the war, so it was 3 airmen were walking along the beach in Catalina Island, and they saw 3 discs in the air. They took pictures of it. I've got the pictures. I've got the article. And also, which isn't known very much, is the Battle of L.A. That object traveled, when it left L.A., traveled down the coast out to Catalina Island and made a right. That's where it went.
Didn't know that either. That's wild.
There's one more thing. There's a leaked audio tape of Kit Green. Kit Green hired what they thought was the #1 psychic in the world, and they asked her to remote view Catalina Island. And the tapes got leaked of her report. She's on the phone talking to Kit Green for 45 minutes, telling him what she saw when she remote viewed Catalina Island. It's on YouTube now, actually. But when I had it, you couldn't get it on YouTube. And she flat out says there's something underwater Catalina Island, and the reason that they're there is they're protecting a fault line, which would make sense. If they live here and they live underwater, of course they want to protect the fault line. They don't want to die. They don't want their base to get destroyed.
And that's the big one. That's the one that could break L.A. and San Francisco off.
I'm not sure about that, but
Dude.
It's still very interesting.
They're protecting a fault line. And what was in what? Do we have the name of the psychic, or is that unknown?
Her name is, you know who knows the name, is Linda Thompson. I think her name was May, but I don't know. I forget her last name.
I thought this might be interesting to listen to the original radio broadcast from the Battle of Los Angeles, because that is pretty.
I don't think I've seen that.
Once again, Colombia's correspondents in world capitals and in the fighting zones in the Western Pacific are ready to give you the latest news direct by shortwave radio. And now for news of our own West Coast, we take you to Los Angeles and the report of Byron Palmer. Anti-aircraft guns went into action against unidentified aircraft in the Los Angeles area shortly after 3 a.m. Pacific wartime this morning. The anti-aircraft guns began barking during a blackout ordered by the 4th Interceptor Command at 2:25 a.m. The unidentified object, which some sources thought might be a blimp, moved slowly down the Pacific coast from Santa Monica and disappeared south of Long Beach. Army officials declined to comment on the possibility that the object might have been a blimp. However, it required nearly 30 minutes to travel some 25 miles, far slower than an airplane. Watchers on the rooftop of the Columbia Broadcasting Building in the heart of Hollywood could plainly see the flashes of guns and searchlights sweeping the skies in a wide arc along the coastal area. Concussion of the shells could be felt in downtown Los Angeles, 15 miles away. U.S. Army planes quickly took to the dark skies, but whether they contacted the object has not been announced. Army officials say they will not comment until they receive a full report of the action. Although some watchers say they saw airplanes in the air, semi-official sources say they probably were the U.S. Army's pursuit. Several observers say they saw one or more planes spotlighted by 20 or 30 searchlights. The object moved southward, presumably over Huntington Park at the western edge of Los Angeles, and on southward to about Long Beach on the coast. By 3:30 a.m., observers said the object appeared to be over the south of Long Beach. Searchlight.
Catalina Island.
Spooky stuff, huh?
Dude, that's wild. There's no way an airship or like a balloon could have
I didn't
made
realize
it.
it was 3:30 a.m. and I also didn't
I'll
realize
give
there
you
was
a little trivia. So one of the original witnesses, was DeForest Kelley, who played Bones on the original Star Trek. And if you go on YouTube, there's an old interview with him on the radio talking about him as a child and witnessing this happen.
And that's awesome, but isn't there some discrepancies about how long the shooting was going on? I know that
there's discrepancies about how many people died. The person you'd want to talk to, the person that knows a lot about this, is David Marler. He's the guy for Battle of LA. He's got all the original articles and stuff.
I'll have to check that out. We got to do a deep dive on the Battle of LA. It's
I
such
didn't realize
a weird
there was
case.
the blackout that precipitated the whole encounter.
But people did die. People had heart attacks. And know who else was a witness? Was Bill Burns from the UFO Hunters.
Really?
Yeah, he was a kid too. He was there.
I bet it made a lot of believers out of people, because what a weird anomalous event. I mean, they're shooting at this thing and it continues to fly around.
This was before, it was really in the zeitgeist. So people weren't going, it's aliens or it's a UFO. They didn't know what it was. They thought it was like the Japanese or something.
Do you think, David, with everything you know about that area, do you think it's related to the Tic Tac, what was seen over there? How it's like the same region? And
obviously it would be speculation, but I mean, it makes sense if it went out to Catalina. And look at the shape of it. I don't know how big it was.
Blimp-like is very much Tic Tac-like, depending on like how
that
far
didn't look
away
like
you
a
are.
blimp to me.
Nope. It looked like the classic saucer to me.
Yeah.
Wild. They call it like an acorn-shaped object too. I mean, yeah, this is a big event. David, as far as crypto-terrestrials go, who are your sources? Who do you like to listen to or watch that likes to talk about the crypto-terrestrial theory?
I mean, Mac Tonnies was the guy. Unfortunately, he passed away. He wrote a great book on crypto-terrestrials. I don't know, like, there's so much going around, and you start watching some people that are talking about it, and you get into the inner Earth stuff and the reptilians, and it's just so clouded. And
Agartha.
I mean, I've been in. I know all that stuff. Like Mount Shasta and stuff like that. Like I did that rabbit hole a long time ago.
Shasta's a weird place. Yeah,
there's supposed to be tunnels under LA with reptilians in them.
There's
newspaper articles you could find about it.
Yep, there's a guy, I forget his name, but he was doing these seismic surveys and found these tunnel system. And I mean, it's such an interesting thing. Catalina Island, crypto-terrestrials, underwater bases, and then underground tunnels in LA. For those to not be connected or that lore, that would be a real missed opportunity.
And there's supposed to be a underwater tunnel that goes from the Pacific coast all the way into Nevada in Vegas.
Really?
That the military uses, for Navy training.
I believe it.
Who knows what's under the ground, dude? Like, I mean, when I say they live underwater, obviously also underground.
Yes. Yeah. Because they're not like swimming down there. They're like in bases under the water.
Yeah. Or maybe they just like park their crafts and park them together like a little party. Who knows?
Oh, that'd be cool. Have you ever heard about the conspiracy about the Getty Museum? And there's like supposedly a psychic base underneath the Getty Museum.
That's a new one to me. What's a psychic base?
Like, so it's a type of intelligence military base, but they have like remote viewers in there.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like psychic aliens or something like that.
Oh,
okay.
no.
You mean like a military base for I mean, I believe anything.
There's all these rumors that the houses, like the really rich houses on that hill with the Getty.
I shouldn't say I believe anything. I mean, I'll take it into consideration and look into it more. I don't mean I believe anything, obviously.
That's the best perspective I think to have on any phenomenon, right? Like I'll consider that and I'll cross-reference it with everything else I know and can find out. Dude, so on the show, you have, different experiencers who were convinced that they saw these things. You also have it ended on a girl who had medical issues. She was saying, "Listen, like something is happening to me medically after I had this sighting,"
right.
And it was all the very familiar telltale signs of these side effects that happen to people who see these UFOs.
Yeah, but usually, and I'm not trying to discourage her or her account or anything, but as far as I know, that happens when people are in close proximity. Except for Cash Landrum, but we don't know how far they were, or even what that was. But like people like John Burroughs and Rendlesham, talks about that type of stuff happening, and it's always you usually hear it when people either touch the craft or they're close to the craft.
Yeah, and all of her videos were very far away.
Right, and I've never heard of that before.
Now I have heard of people having some type of connection to sightings they're seeing far away, right? Like a download or something, but not a medical side effect.
Yeah, I'm not saying she didn't see a UFO. I just don't think that part is related, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen the physical incidents, but there is kind of like the who was it that was on the Tic Tac that kind of had some kind of esoteric dreams afterwards?
Kevin Day,
right? So there is sometimes like at a distance reactions, but I guess physical stuff I haven't really seen before.
Dude, what about Matthew Roberts? What about Matthew Roberts?
Yeah, Matthew too, but he didn't have radiation burns. I'm not talking about downloads and stuff like that. I'm talking about physical effects caused by the craft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. People can get telepathic whatever from how far away they want, obviously, probably,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But right. I mean, like physical, like you don't get burned from not touching a stove. You have to get close to it to get burned.
That's a really good point. That's
what I feel like, and I haven't even watched it yet, but just hearing y'all talk, seems like that's a nice, like there's a non-limitation set on the show where like the host can still say like, I don't really think this is a UFO, right? There's not this kind of like need to get to a predetermined thing to where you might like ignore something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dude, exactly. And like they're looking over the data. Like for this one sighting.
And you have to remember also some stuff might get cut out in editing that was left out, which could either be pro their story or against their story. I wasn't there. I don't know.
So much gets lost on the cutting room floor for time. So much, dude. But yeah, they have like the data, the satellite data. They were able to be like, oh, this is ISS or this is whatever, and say like, yeah, this is the direction you were looking. So they have all that research before these guys come in, and they're able to like
Indy. And I've talked to him afterwards. He got my number. He called me, and he was bummed out, but he gets it, man. Like, I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know. I'd like to look into his story more because apparently there was more that got left out, and that's kind of what I should probably do.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be so discouraged. You know what I mean? Like, he had an experience. A lot of people
when I first heard, the first thing I said was, it is a very common thing for abductions and people that are being abducted to see dead relatives. It's very common. Whitley Strieber talks about it. My friend Josh Cutchin wrote a book on it, Ecology of the Soul. He wrote an entire book about people seeing dead relatives during UFO experiences. For me, I would have had Josh on that show telling people when he said that, it's very common for, nobody said that. That's the stuff I wanted to add. That would have been cool,
Yeah.
Like, not just be like, oh, he's a kook, he saw his dead dad. No, that's so common. It's
very
common.
very common. And trauma is a weird type of spark or initiator for some of this stuff, right? Like, these things are happening, and like the idea, like, is the phenomenon using that? Are they using these memories? Are they showing up on purpose as dead relatives, or is there literally something?
To me, what I think is they're trying to make the person comfortable. But
almost like the movie Contact.
Don't use a dead person because that's going to freak me the hell out. Use like, I don't know, like Porky Pig or something. Like, don't something.
That would be awesome.
I'd be like, zombie.
You imagine
headshot.
Full on, you know what I mean? Like Roger Rabbit cartoon character comes in, and you're like, okay, this is disarming. I'm into this.
Like a 1995 version of Pamela Anderson. That would make me calm. Not a dead relative.
For real.
It's like, what was that movie Taken? They had the kid see his little cartoon squirrel when they were coming to abduct him. The Greys made him think he was looking at a little like Mickey Mouse squirrel.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, that was his screen memory. Yeah. Yep.
Dude, Whitley Strieber, man, he's someone I really want to talk to. I finally caught the movie Communion as an adult, and it's just so ahead of its time.
Christopher Walken.
Oh, he was a wild man in that. I've never seen him so eccentric. He was full Christopher Walken. Yes,
full Walken.
It was wild. Well, hey, David, we're rounding about the hour. I want to know, do you want to watch this? I just caught this UFO. I don't know if it's a UFO video, but it's from an amateur astronomer, and they got these lights moving around Saturn.
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, let's take a look at this. Have you ever been able to look at Saturn or Jupiter through a telescope or
not recently or anything? But there's supposed to be 3 giant machines that are up there.
Oh, the ring makers of Saturn?
Yeah, there's supposed to be some machinery up there. In there, so.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised.
One of my good friends is Beatrice, and she's with the Sol Foundation. She's an astronomer. I'll have to show this to her, see if she's seen it.
Yeah, it's anomalous for sure. It looks like it's going behind the planet. It's just this light. I mean, we all know Saturn has
interesting research about the 1952 wave, right? And Donald Menzel and all that stuff.
And
nice.
just to give you a little more inside information, I'm the one that brought that to her. I mean, she found the 1952 stuff, but I'm the one that said, "Hey, do you ever hear of the 1952 flap?" She's like, "No." And I said, "Well, let me tell you." And then she put that all together.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. And could you maybe explain for the audience, what exactly did she find? She found like...
So she studies like vanishing stars, vanishing objects in space, and they have them all on these plates. I don't know how that all works. I'm not a astronomer or anything, or physicist. But they show in 1952, like the same week as the Washington UFO flap, objects that are there in one picture and then they're not in another, and that's not supposed to happen. They should always be there. Yeah, and I wanted her to look into like the Flatwoods thing too, because that was the same month, at the same time. Not the same month, but same time period, and which was also in Virginia.
They better start unleashing AI on some of these plates to be able to determine like what stars are moving, which ones aren't, because a lot of it's naked eye.
They need to put AI on the crop circles. That's what I think they should do.
Oh, I love that. What do you think of that video with the little white orbs making the crop circle? You think that's legit?
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was like in the 90s on VHS. It would be pretty hard to fake. It's the same one you're talking about.
Very hard to fake. It's so old, definitely in the 90s. And then it's handheld. I mean, I've done a fair amount of video editing, keyframing. I mean, that shit is not easy. Yeah, look at this. It's just from the crop circles remaining in frame.
This is the one video where I was like, okay, maybe there's something to crop circles. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
Because I was always like, whatever, you know, they don't really do it for me. I never really got interested in them until this.
Yeah, I love this. I posted this like a year ago, and it got community noted.
Patrick Jackson says they're communicating with it, right? And stuff like that.
Yep. David, are you familiar with Patrick Jackson, his research? With the,
I don't think so.
Metallic spheres. He's got a very strong theory.
Like the Betz Spheres or something like that?
Yeah.
He's in that same kind of loop. He was featured on that same episode with Gary Nolan and Ross Coulter.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I know a lot about the Betz Sphere. I looked into that because it happened right by me in Florida. Paul Hynek says that his dad brought it home for him one time.
I believe it. I believe he did, and like because Hynek had it, Jan Hynek had it in his possession, and then they returned it to the Betz family.
And they said it was a replacement.
Yes, it wasn't the same thing.
The old switcheroo on me. Because they brought it to that friggin'. You don't bring anything to the Inquirer, man. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, they have that. There it is, right there.
Dude, Red has a lot of work on content on the Inquirer. And the types of work that these like tabloids were really doing behind the scenes.
There's a really cool story. Have you guys heard of Astonishing Legends, the podcast?
No.
So they do a three-part podcast on this. They have the original family members there. They interview them. It's like 4 hours long. And they also have a story about Japan, a group of kids that found a metal object in Japan. That's crazy, dude. Like you got to listen. You got to look into that.
And what's the name of that podcast?
Astonishing Legends.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, they do a lot of good
Betz
stuff.
Sphere, David Altman, after everything you looked into and listening to that podcast.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I want it to be true. You know.
Yeah.
I want one. You know, for sure. But whenever I hear metal spheres, my ears perk up, man. You know, like it's something that I'm definitely interested in.
Yeah, it's super anomalous. Real quick, we got a super chat. Beats and Meat says, I crapped my pants when I saw those crop circles on the Y-Files episode. Yeah, those are wild. Those are wild. There's a fair amount of effort to discredit things like that on the internet as well. Like very quick debunks. Like, oh, that was proven false. And then everybody just forgets about it.
It's like they tell all these stories and there it is right there. But we don't see it do anything. You know, it's like we need more. We need more.
Well, I couldn't recommend the work of Patrick Jackson anymore. I got his book sitting right over here. But he has a plethora of evidence, video evidence, and he goes back into the historical record, finds old UFO footage and videos, and looks for this formation of these like 3 dots that are typically around the thing. And he says it's a UFO network of these metallic spheres that do a lot of stuff around the atmosphere. But definitely check it out, dude. Well, David, we are getting to the top of the hour. I cannot thank you enough for popping in here. I know you got to get some food in you.
I'm
but
dying.
Thank you so much for popping in.
Man. Congrats, by the way. Congrats.
What's up? There's Tim Senor. We were just talking about that footage. Yeah, make sure you watch the episode of that Utah footage, man. It's crazy.
Oh, gonna check that out. I'm also gonna check out that
Watch
podcast.
them all. Watch them all, everybody. Watch them all.
Hell yeah! And go to Discovery Max. Go and check out this new show. Okay, the Alien Encounters Fact or Fiction is fire. I thought it was gonna be kind of run of the mill, but it's offering a brand new kind of flavor to the UFO TV show where it's
mostly all new people you really haven't heard of.
Yeah, I never heard of the people that were in there.
A couple of recognizable faces you'll see. But there's some great new stuff in there.
And shout out to Chrissy Newton. I feel like she's a really great part of this community. Does some great research stuff, and it's about time I feel like she gets her own show, right? So good.
Yeah, I've been trying to help her out for a while, and this came up, and I was like, first person I suggested.
Dude, she's a natural. What a great casting, man.
Yeah, she's a great friend.
Hell yeah. Well, David, thanks again.
Guys,
everybody go out there and watch the show. Check it out.
Season two. Watch it.
And it premiered yesterday. Is it going to be weekly every Thursday? Wednesday?
I think we have 6 episodes, I believe, for the season. I don't know.
Oh,
it could
nice.
Be I know that we ended up with an extra one, which is cool. They gave us another one. So.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited. I can't wait to keep watching, man. And we'll probably do some like little reviews in spaces and whatnot. And we'll see you out there in the Twitterverse and the UFO stuff. Excited for all you're doing, man.
The last episode too, or something.
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. Yeah, then I can really talk about stuff.
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
man. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, David. Peace out.
Good night, guys.
Good night, David. Peace, man.
Good night.
Guys, great show. That was a blast. That was real good stuff. This show I actually am excited for. Like I said, man, there's only so many UFO shows I can like kind of digest, but turning this on and watching it from the jump right away, they were asking new questions, there was new people, and they were doing something new. Right, so definitely check it out when you guys can. We're going to leave you guys with some music. I want to say what's up to the chat. I don't know if we got through it all. Also, we did get a super chat. We didn't hear this.
Nowadays, I'm all about the fatty. You better get some. Too busy hating, ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Ain't getting none. Me, I'm all about the fatty. Yeah, they ain't ready for me.
They ain't ready for me. They really ain't. Oh. Glad we got some new UFO content coming out. We got to watch some UFO videos in the mix. David's a great guy. You guys go follow him on Twitter or X. If you guys are watching on X, pop over to YouTube. Give us a subscribe and a like on this little vid here. Share it if you learned something. Share it if you liked it. And I want to say thank you to all the supporters. I won a contest today from doing spaces, and I can't believe that it happened. I can't believe I won. I have a lot of supporters in this channel and just friends over on X and people I would consider family at this point. And I feel like you guys really helped me make it happen. For real. For real. Believe in myself through tough times and whatnot. I couldn't have done it without the community, and I don't know. I'm still processing that W. That's a big one. That's a big one. I thought that Alex Jones sharing my vid was going to be the top thing that happened to me this month, but nope. We are serving W's out here, and I wish everyone out there watching all the success in what they're doing, whether they're hunting UFOs or hunting new opportunities. Get it. It's our summer, guys. Until next time. Peace.